You're on record.
Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec. Of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, please call the roll.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Here.
Ms. Grignani. Present. Mr. Jaskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Kaplan.
Here.
Mr. Mazzarella.
Here.
Mr. Petty.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Present.
Chairman Iratain.
Present.
We also have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick.
Present.
Our board engineer, Mr. Lemanowitz.
Here.
And our board attorney, Mr. Johnson.
I'm gonna swear him in.
Mr. Chadwick, can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that any testimony that you give tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Lemanowitz, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point in this evening's meeting, is there any member of the public that has any business to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? Hear none and see none. We have one resolution, 2205, Outfront Media. Do I have a,
Motion to move. Second, Jasper.
okay, Berkowitz, Grignani, Jaskowitz, Kaplan, Petty, Reddy, can vote. Someone want to move that?
Mr. Reddy made a motion. It was
Oh, okay,
seconded by
I'm sorry,
Jaskowitz.
I'm sorry, yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Grignani. Yes. Jaskowitz.
Yes. Yes.
Petty.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Okay, that's it on resolutions. We can go right into the agenda. There's no correspondence or anything tonight?
No correspondence.
Okay, let's go to, application 2359, Lydia and Leanna Binder. Good evening.
Good evening, excuse me.
Good
Chairman, Michael Rubin, members of the board. My name is Michael Rubin. I'm the attorney for the appellants. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much.
This is an appeal of a determination by the zoning officer that adding a second kitchen to a single-family dwelling automatically converts it to a two-family dwelling, although no other changes are being proposed to the physical layout of the home. The subject property is located at 4 Parkside Drive, as designated as Block 763, Lot 2, on the Parsippany tax map. The owners of the property are Lydia Binder, who lives at on the lower level with her partner, and Lydia's daughter, Yelena Binder, who lives on the second level with her partner and their 2 children. An existing kitchen is on the second floor, but there are bedrooms and living areas on both floors. The floor plans were submitted with the application, and one of the applicants is here to testify. There is unimpeded access between the 2 floors through a central internal staircase. Applicant sought approval to install a kitchen on the ground floor to accommodate the religious beliefs of Lydia, which differ from those of Yelena. The township denied their request for a permit, asserting that installing a second kitchen would convert the dwelling into a two-family dwelling, although the 2 levels would be integrated and the owners would continue to live as a single extended family unit. The zoning ordinance defines a two-family dwelling as a building designed for or occupied exclusively by 2 families living independently of each other. Applicant filed an appeal of the administrator's office's decision because the additional kitchen will not result in 2 independent living units. I have here as sole witness Yelena Binder, one of the owners, and ask that she be sworn in.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Yelena Binder, 4 Parkside Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey, 07154.
And you reside at that address, correct?
Yes, correct.
And is the property improved with a single-family dwelling?
It is.
Who else resides in the home?
So it's myself, my partner, who's the father of my two children, 8 and 6.5 respectively, my mom, Lydia Binder, and her partner, Edward Schulman.
And who are the owners of the property?
Myself and my mom.
When did you buy it?
About a year ago, April 2023.
Where'd you live before moving to Parsippany?
So myself, my partner, and my kids, we lived in Brooklyn, New York. We lived in a one-bedroom apartment, which was my apartment, the 4 of us. And my mom lived in Fairfield, New Jersey, with her partner, in a ranch-style house, which was a 3-bedroom house.
The apartment you lived in Brooklyn was too small for your family?
Absolutely. We outgrew it. My children are 2 opposite sexes, a boy and a girl, so they were growing naturally, and
And your mother's house was too small for you to move into?
it was. When we would sleep over, we would all be in one bedroom.
Why'd you decide to buy a house together?
So about a year and a half ago, my mom got diagnosed with lung cancer. She had a surgery. She had a lungectomy, so one entire lung got removed. She had a very, very rough recovery, and then chemo, and then immunotherapy, and then had side effects from immunotherapy. And so it was understood that she needed more help, more taken care of. And so, and I needed the support with my kids. So we looked for something where we can move in together, and we can, it would be mutually beneficial, and she can help me with the kids, and her husband can help me with the kids, and, naturally, I help her.
Why the Parsippany area?
Well, my husband opened up a business, a auto repair shop on Route 46, in Pine Brook, right before the road splits into 46 and Bloomfield. There's a Getty gas station, and inside that gas station, he rents the, what is it called, like a garage, whatever?
Space.
The space, yeah, for his auto repair shop. So he did that about 2 years ago, and so we were looking in the area, so we'd be closer to his work. And also, the schools are really good in Parsippany, and we looked in other towns in the area, but we were looking for somewhere where we can have a bi-level with 2 kitchens. We looked in East Hanover, for example, and there was a house that we liked that, that had the space sort of for what we wanted. But we called the township, and it was a hard no, that they don't allow 2 kitchens in East Hanover at all. So when we found this house and we called Parsippany Township, we were told that in certain cases that yes, they do allow it. So we bought it.
Why didn't you purchase or look at 2 families as opposed to a bi-level?
So we did. We looked at a 2-family in, I think it was either Codwell or West Codwell, off of Bloomfield. And the stairs was just not doable for my mom to climb up and down. Plus, so it was 2 apartments in, one sort of, one above the other in one construction. But it was a very long and steep stairway up, and there were 2 separate doors. And considering that the kids stay a lot, with the grandparents, when both my husband and I are working, it wouldn't be, they can't just go, oh, hey, come down. It was like 2 closed-off spaces. We needed something that was a 1-family house where all the spaces are open. There's no doors, or it's not covered or restricted in any way. And it's easy for the kids to get down, to call my mom if something is wrong. Also for me, if God forbid something is wrong with my mom, for me to hear her and be able to come down.
Mr. Rubin, I think this would all be great testimony with respect to a variance application.
See,
But
but
we're here to decide whether the decision of the zoning officer was correct.
right, but the definition is 2 families living independently of each other. So I think some of the proofs have to show that these families do not live independently
Well,
of
I
each other.
think the first question is whether what is contemplated on the ground floor qualifies as a dwelling unit. And if it qualifies as a dwelling unit and is another dwelling unit, it then converts it from a dwelling single family to a dwelling 2-family. I think that's where the rub is.
Right, but it says forming a single habitable unit. And all of this is to demonstrate that this is not a single habitable unit. This is
Your
a,
problem with that argument is the physical makeup of the building will be two dwelling units. How they function socially within it is your and my speculation.
but it's
You know
not
what?
two dwelling
Excuse me,
units.
let me finish. To argue that they are not, they are connected, that they do not live independent of one another. You don't know how the family's gonna operate. Maybe they get in a big fight and don't talk to each other for a year.
But that's what the testimony's for, is to say that they don't live
But did you
independently.
hear-
That's your
What-
definition.
what-
Did you hear what the attorney said?
Yeah, what information was given to the zoning officer at the time the application for the permit was made?
Same information I'm giving here tonight.
So,
Mr. Chairman, we do have the zoning officer here, and maybe she can testify and
Yeah, we
the
can get to
precedent
that,
set
but
on
that's-
this type of situation.
that's what, so the issue before the board tonight is whether that decision by the zoning officer, based upon the information that she had at the time she made that decision, was correct or not.
Correct. And she had all the information that this is an extended family living as a single-family unit in a bi-level home that was constructed as a bi-level home with bedrooms on both floors, and the only thing that's missing is a kitchen on the second floor. The zoning officer said to put a kitchen on the first floor, to put a second kitchen in constitutes a second dwelling unit. And my question is, why? What in your ordinance says that putting a second kitchen makes it a separate dwelling unit? Nothing. Nothing.
I don't think it necessarily means that then becomes a two-family house. We have approved second kitchens, okay? And one night I got myself into trouble because I said it was an Italian family, and every Italian family has a kitchen. I am Italian, so I can say
In the
that,
basement,
okay?
right?
All right. When you mention two-family, I get a little scared, okay? I don't care if you put a second kitchen in, if it's only a one-family house
It
that
will-
people all live together. There's no locked door.
There's
in
no
between,
barrier.
There's no wall built.
That's what we're
Okay.
describing.
Yeah, you're not asking for a two-family house.
No.
You're asking for a second kitchen.
Yeah.
Correct, that's
Okay.
all.
Again, I still think it should be a variance application.
The problem you have, the township's ordinance hasn't come to grips with multi-generational occupancy. Most towns don't. And the issue, the testimony you've given is right on point for use variance. But how do you say functionally, physically of the building is what you have to look at.
Correct, and there's
Physically,
nothing in
you'll
that,
have
and
two dwelling units.
there's nothing in the building that separates those dwelling units, so you can't live independently of one another, which is your definition.
Certainly
There's
they do
nothing in your
operate
ordinance that says two kitchens automatically make two dwelling units.
What's to stop them from just putting a door up at some point?
They would, the layout of the building prevents that. It's not separable. And moreover, they would need permits to do that.
No,
That
they
turns it
don't.
into a se-
No,
You have to trust people,
Unfortunately, people do stuff all the time.
but you
without
can't
permits.
assume that people are gonna act illegally. You can't deny this on the basis that you're gonna assume that people are gonna act illegally. That's not the way boards work. Boards have to assume that people, just like we're here in good faith, that people are gonna act in good faith. And they're here to tell you that they can't separate this building because the mother takes care of the kids and the daughter takes care of the mother. And they can't separate
And
these.
time passes and the occupancy changes, and you can't tell me what is gonna be.
But you're gonna have to get it inspected when it changes. If they sell the house, an inspector's gonna come in. If
For
someone
what?
puts
Not in
Fire?
Parsippany, I apologize, but that does not happen in Parsippany.
You have a fire inspection, period.
fire inspection, if he sees separation, that's illegal.
You're speculating. You
No,
don't know
but
what
you're
you're gonna do.
speculating that they're gonna cut off the two levels.
No.
And you can't speculate that they're gonna act illegally. That's not fair to them.
I think you understand what the issue is that this board is grappling with. So if you could limit your evidence to that particular issue, why this particular situation that your client brought to the attention of the zoning officer does not qualify as a separate dwelling unit? And then the board will make that decision.
Can you describe the house, please? That was where we were going. The next question I was going to ask was, please describe the house.
Sure. When you come in, the main entrance, the main door, from the outside, there's a few steps up, and then the main door. And then there's a little, I don't know, what is it called?
landing?
A foyer,
A
a landing. And there's a few steps up and a few steps down. It's not a long or a steep staircase. It's a manageable staircase, small. When you come in, to the left, there's a living room.
This is on the upper floor.
Right, on the second, on the higher floor. There's a kitchen and a dining room, kind of connected from the living room to the dining room, and the dining room is also connected to the kitchen. It's kind of an open sort of space. Then when you go to the right, there's one full bathroom, there's one kid's bedroom, then there's another kid's bedroom, there's a master bedroom to the left, and master bathroom from the master bedroom. And then downstairs, it's okay, I know it. I picture it in my... So then when you take the few steps downstairs to the left, there's my mom's room, and then there's like a family room situation. Then there's that exit to the backyard, to the patio and backyard, straight like from the family room. Then to the right, before you get to that like glass door, there's one full bathroom. And then when you come down the stairs, you make a right away. There's a space where we're trying to make that kitchen. To the left, there's the laundry room and a half bathroom, a very small half bathroom. If you keep going straight, but before you keep going straight, in the kitchen area to the right, there's another small bedroom, which is like a office space used, to keep like papers and put a computer in. If you go straight to the left, there's my mom's husband's room, and then the exit to the garage.
Is there a shower downstairs?
Is there only one laundry room in the house?
Only one laundry room in the house, and unfortunately, no space on the second floor
Can I ask you a question?
to put any other laundry.
Why didn't you just come in front of us for a C variance, a D variance, and say to us, this is our story, right? A multi-generational family, we're looking to take care of elderly parents, and we need the second kitchen. And then in the past, on occasions, we have granted those variances with a deed restriction, and that's the end of it. Why didn't we go through that path?
Because
You're doing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll answer that, because that was my decision, not
Okay.
hers. This was my decision.
Okay.
To be a D variance, it says, in particular cases for special reasons, grant a variance to allow departure from regulations enacted pursuant to this act, zoning regulations. I have been asking since day one, point to me a regulation that says a second kitchen makes a two-family house. And the only thing I got was a denial letter saying, this is a two-family. They didn't cite to any provision of the ordinance that says this makes it a two-family. And I need a departure from a zoning regulation. And no one has been able to point to me a zoning regulation that adding a kitchen violates, that creates a two-family dwelling. No one.
But, so I'm not going to tell you how to be a lawyer for sure, but your client wants that kitchen, needs that kitchen, and if the best way for her to get the kitchen is to go in front of us for a variance and not argue the legal ease of an ordinance that is open to interpretation, why wouldn't you just go with the way that gets her what she wants?
Because how do I know you're going to grant it? I mean, I need 5 votes. I need 5 votes to get a D variance.
It's gonna have to be.
I mean, it's a D variance. I mean, no one wants to have it, no one wants to come before a zoning board for a D variance if they don't have to. If your ordinance told me that this is a two-family dwelling, I would have filed for a D variance. If someone can point to a regulation in the ordinance that says a second kitchen means that this is a two-family
Why
dwelling,
don't we take a time out on this?
I would have filed for a variance.
Why don't we take a time out on this and find it within the ordinance, or the basis for this ordinance, the two-family definition or the single-family definition there has to be language with it.
I have it right here. I can read it to you.
It's in,
No, I don't want you to
it's
read it.
in the definitions. There's a definition of a dwelling unit and a definition of dwelling two-family with two dwelling units. A dwelling unit is any room or group of rooms or any part thereof located within a building and forming a single habitable unit with facilities which are used or designed to be used for living, sleeping, cooking, or eating. That is a dwelling unit. So the question is what your client wants to do on the first floor, does that constitute a second dwelling unit within that building? Therefore converting it from dwelling, single family to dwelling, two family.
To be a
That's the question.
two-family, they would have to be living independently of each other, and they're not. So, and it doesn't form a single habitable unit because they are connected by an internal stairway that they use all day long, every day, to travel between the second floor and the first floor, just like I do in my house, where my bedrooms are on my second floor, and my bathrooms are on my second floor, and whatever. I travel between floors, they all travel between floors
The
indiscriminately.
first floor, if I understand it correctly, has sleeping, cooking, and living spaces.
Correct, but-
For its own family unit, correct?
No,
It has, well, does it not have sleeping in the first floor?
yes, but not for
Does
its
it
own
not have-
family unit.
Does it not have cooking on the first floor?
Not now.
Well, will it, though?
If
Is
it's
it-
permitted, if,
And does it not have a living room space? on the
yes, it
first floor?
does. But it's not
It has
a,
all of those three things.
but it doesn't form a single habitable unit.
It
that-
does by its physical
No,
nature.
no, by its physical nature would have to be independent because that's the definition of a two-family dwelling.
But
You have to look at the two definitions and pari materia with one
I
another.
agree with you.
And
but
in
if
order to be
you're-
a two-family dwelling, that single habitable unit has to be independent of the other single habitable unit. And it's not in this case because it was built as a bi-level. That's how it was built, with bedrooms on both floors and living areas on both floors.
But not kitchens. Is there, on the bottom floor, there's utility room and a laundry room, correct? Is there a utility room and laundry room?
What
on
does
the-
utility room mean?
Like you have your,
Boiler?
Saying,
your furnace and your.
Yeah.
Boil- There's a
hot water-
boiler
okay,
downstairs.
but laundry room. Laundry room is on the bottom floor.
Oh.
Is there one on the top floor?
No, and there's no space to put
Who's
one
parking in the garage right now?
in the garage.
Yeah, both?
I mean, we all
Upstairs
park in
and
the
downstairs?
driveway, and the garage is full of stuff.
So if,
That's God honest truth. The garage is full of stuff.
well, lots of people do, that's not a problem. So if the people upstairs are gonna do laundry, they have to come downstairs,
I mean, that's the only way.
and
They
that's what
come-
you're doing now.
I mean, I have two kids that are in sports. I do laundry every single day, several times, several loads a day,
And
and
there's a shower
Yeah.
downstairs, correct?
there is.
And if I understand correctly,
Yes, sir.
one of you keeps kosher, correct?
Yes, no.
Your mom does, right? So your
Mhm.
mom cooks independently of you and your family.
It's been very difficult, yeah.
Okay. And then, the intent is for you to prepare meals separately
Correct,
in each of these separate kitchens.
correct. And also wash the dishes separately, and,
Correct.
yes.
It requires two of everything to keep one
It's
kosher.
been
I
very
understand.
difficult,
That's the-
yeah.
That's the reason why you want
Yes,
to accomplish
yes.
this.
That's why I
So
went
that
through this whole
one,
thing.
but so that one family can keep kosher,
Mm.
correct? And one family doesn't have to.
Well, a part of the family,
Right,
not
that's what I-
two separate families. We're all one
couple
family, yeah.
Is gonna keep a kosher house,
Yeah.
and the other family is not, correct?
And the grandparents keep kosher, and
But it's not two families, it's one family. It's
I
just
understand
that
they're
it's-
related.
No, they're integrated. That's the problem that you don't understand. The kitchens
I
don't make them
understand your
integrated. There's nothing in your ordinance that says that the kitchens that's a two-family dwelling.
But
If there was something in your ordinance that says, you put a second kitchen in here and you become a two-family dwelling, I would have done a variance and I wouldn't be here right now.
But what
Isn't
happens
The
if,
fact that they are cooking separate meals
They're cooking separate meals now,
indicate that they're living independently from
but they're not.
I'm not gonna listen to you, Bill.
They're not living independently of one another because they cook separate meals. I cook separate meals for my wife all the time.
In the same kitchen though, right?
So
Mr.
what?
Johnson,
What
what happens if
difference
the
does it
zoning officer comes up and says, this is how she treats every case, in front of her. Does that matter?
The issue is this application create a violation of the zoning ordinance? And the zoning officer indicated that it
Right.
did, and that therefore you need a variance from the very section that we've been discussing.
But they
So
never
your answer-
explained why. All
I
they
just
said is a
explained why.
two-family dwelling. They didn't go through this analysis. They did nothing. All of this denial said, by putting a second kitchen in, this is a two-family dwelling, with no analysis, no citation to the ordinance, nothing. I had nothing to go on. I am
Can I ask a
here,
question? Does this come down to meals? And what I mean by that is, if the entire family were keeping kosher or the entire family were not keeping kosher, would you be requesting a second kitchen?
I mean, if the entire family were
Was
not,
either, was one or the other? Would you be requesting a second kitchen?
I mean, I suppose not, but the fact of the matter is that one part of the family
I understand
does,
that.
right,
I'm trying
so
to,
I'm
what
not-
I'm trying to get at is what, is
Sure.
this just come down, are we boiling this down to dinner time?
that's
But
a motivated
So,
this.
yes, that. Also, with how difficult it's been to keep that sort of kosher and not,
But again,
right.
it's coming down to
But
the meals.
wait, but it's not only that. It's also consider the fact that, you know, my mom's health condition, and to constantly come up, cook a second time, go down, come back up several times a day, because you don't just eat once a day, right? It's been extremely difficult. More so on my mom than anyone else, considering that she is, you know, post-cancer and with one lung and her breathing. I mean, you know, at an older age, most people tend to get shortness of breath going up the stairs. Now, consider with one lung. So it's been very difficult.
Chairman, can we request the zoning officer
Mr.
to give
Rubin,
more?
the zoning officer is here. Would you like her to come up and,
That's your prerogative. I'd be happy to hear from her.
Well, are you done with your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, you have any more questions of your witness?
Can I just ask one question?
sure.
Do you have any intention of separating the lower level of the dwelling from the upper level and creating two distinct living areas?
No, of course not. The whole reason why we wanted a bi-level is because we want the opposite of a two distinct living areas. We want one living area, you know, open. I mean, I already explained it. I don't know how
Now, last
better to
question.
explain it.
Okay, do you have any other witnesses?
No.
Another question.
Any-
You,
Well, wait, let's
Yes.
see, are there any members of the public that have any questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening? I hear none and see none. Why don't we let
can I
Jennifer
just
come
ask
up?
one more quick question?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You stated that when you called Parsippany, you
Yes,
were
sir.
told in certain cases they're allowable, the second
Yes, sir.
kitchen. Did you follow up and ask in what circumstances are they allowable?
No, I didn't. I just took it for.
And you have no
face
written
value.
correspondence of this, it was just,
No,
you're
sir.
saying
It
you
was a
spoke to
call.
someone and that was
We
that?
called, we spoke to someone in township. Same way as we did with other towns. Another town that said that, yes, they allow it is Denver, for example, and we actually saw houses. We looked at houses that had two kitchens. We tried to purchase them, but we were outbid.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Jennifer, can you come up, please? Put the swear.
Yeah.
He's gonna swear you in.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good evening. Congratulations, Chairman Irakane.
Thank you.
You will be greatly missed.
Thank you.
I'd like to say, for starters, that we do not deny applications for second kitchens. We review the plans, we review the application. So it is true, if you call our office, we do not immediately deny second kitchens, we've allowed them. What we do deny is when that second kitchen creates a separate living unit. And by separate living unit, it has all the components to be independent from the other. Bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, a living area. I have seen over my 32 years with the town, many, many times that structures exactly like her house, exactly, that we go in to do an inspection because a neighbor complains about cars and lots of people, and we walk into the foyer, and they've created 2 separate doors. And the upstairs is the exact layout that she's describing, and the downstairs is another unit. And the person who bought the house had a single-family dwelling, never came to the zoning department to add the second kitchen or the doors. They do the work without permits, and the next thing you know, you have a resident who unfortunately purchased what they thought was a legal 2-family that was not, and you have 2 separate families living in them. It happens all the time. Every month, we find another and another illegal 2-family. So my suggestion to them was it wasn't about the second kitchen. It was about the 2 separate independent living. She wins the lottery tomorrow, and she sells that house, and it's going to go on the market as a 2-family. And then I have to go in and evict poor people that are living in those 2 separate units because they thought it was a legal 2-family. So over the years, we have tried very much to tell people if they call, we don't immediately deny second kitchen. It's not about the second kitchen. I just approved last month 2 kitchens in the basement. No way out, no full bathroom, only a kitchen. Kosher family wanted to be able to cook separately, but there was no full bathroom. There was no way out of the basement. There was no possible way. I even had an inspector visit the site and walk through it. There was no way that it would have been made a 2-family. This, it's not to me about the people. I'm on the planning board. Every single time an applicant comes to the board and tells us, we're going to do this, they sell the property 2 months later and a completely different family moves in. So I know, I've been doing this a long time, that I have to go by the structure and not about the people. Because the people will tell you, I'm sure she's 100% honest in everything she's doing. But I truly believe that the correct way to do it is to apply for the use variance, apply for the deed that states that when she no longer needs the second kitchen, that she will return it to a single-family dwelling, and the next buyer will buy a legal single-family dwelling. And that's what we explained when they submitted. That's what we explained each time. I'll be honest, we never spoke. So we never had, we never spoke, so I was never able to explain that. But we did speak several times, my office staff did, and I want her to have the correct approval as a use variance of a 2-family, because heaven forbid down the road that she wants to sell it, she doesn't have to rip everything out, or she can ask for the deed restriction. But I don't believe that an appeal is the correct method.
So what was it about this particular application that led you to conclude that it was a separate, independent dwelling?
It was at the first application, I think, you probably talked to someone in my office. Then I think someone came in with a floor plan, and we looked at a floor plan. And the first thing I look for is, I don't know if that's the first floor plan that we saw.
What are you referring to?
I look for, this was probably in your packet. This is the floor plan for Parkside Drive. It's several pages. I'm pretty sure it was in the application, so it's probably in your packet. So each level had its own separate living. And that's what I look for. If you can live independent from one another with a full bathroom, a kitchen, bedrooms, and some type of family room, living room that can be separate units, then, so we didn't deny it for the kitchen when they first came. It wasn't until we had the floor plan that we denied, because it could be 2 separate living. And I've seen this specific house turned into a 2-family many, many times. Of course.
So when we were looking for houses, what we were looking for, in addition to a bi-level that would permit a second kitchen, we were looking for mother-daughter houses, which are sold as a single-family house, but they have spaces for, the grandparents. I mean,
That's the
they're mother-daughter.
problem, is mother-daughter is not a zoning term. You don't see that in municipal land use law. You don't see it in the zoning ordinance. Mother-daughter is a realtor term that realtors created many, many years ago to get people to purchase a property that in essence is a 2-family. So if you had said, I'm looking for, and to us, as soon as someone says mother-daughter, I know I've got a two-family, because it has all the components to live separate. If you closed off one floor, the other floor could live completely independent of the other.
Not the second floor, because we don't have a laundry room. So
I
we
have
to go
I have
through.
two people who just installed bottom and top washer dryers in their bedroom, like that. And when my inspector first went out, we looked at the floor plans when the house was sold, and we looked at the plans and the pictures, and then I sent an inspector out, and they added the two doorways after the property sold, and they added top and bottom washer dryers. Unfortunately, and one was added in a bedroom, so they immediately made it into a two-family. So now that poor person bought this property thinking it's a two-family, and now they have to, they're probably going to be a future application.
Any questions by the board of our zoning officer? No, doesn't appear to be.
Mr. Rubin, do you have questions of this one?
No. Yeah, one question. Do the people who put in the laundry in the bedroom, do they get a plumbing permit for that?
No.
Do you have any rebuttal?
You're basically assuming that people act illegally, and I don't really think that's right. But let me do this. If what you're talking about is you want a deed restriction, I'll voluntarily agree to put a deed restriction on this property that makes it a single-family dwelling. That's not the issue here. That's not what this is about. This isn't about that they want to convert this to a two-family dwelling. If you want a deed restriction, I'll file a deed restriction on the house.
I think that would be appropriate with respect to a variance application.
I'm volunteering it. It doesn't change the definitions in your ordinance. The zoning officer said there's no definition of mother-daughter in the ordinance, but there's no definition that says a second kitchen makes it a two-family either.
But she just testified that she relied not just on...
But there aren't two independent living units here. No matter how you look at this house, you have to assume that they're going to do something illegal to assume that this is two separate living units. You have to make that assumption, because it isn't. It isn't today, and it wouldn't be after a kitchen comes in, because you're going to get inspections on the kitchen. And the inspector on the kitchen's going to know whether or not they put in a doorway between the two levels. And he's going to see that they didn't. And so they're going to get a C of O for two kitchens without a two-family dwelling, and then you're going to have to assume that they're going to act illegally.
Mr. Johnson, how does this end?
Well,
you got to vote. I mean, I agree. You got
So-
to do a motion and a vote.
No, he's arguing a point, you have a counterpoint, our zoning
But I'm
officer.
offering, just to expedite this,
Yes, but you've been asked, and this board has said, several members apply for a D variance. with
but
the
other
deed
members have
restriction.
said maybe not. I haven't heard from everybody yet.
Well, you
take
may
a
end up
motion.
getting a no this way. Why not just apply for the D variance?
Because you could deny it. This is like clear as can be. You don't have an ordinance that says this is a two-family
You don't
dwelling.
listen to what the board has said.
No, I am listening to it. I understand.
I'm-
If you vote me down, I gotta apply for a D variance.
Let's go there.
I understand that, but I'm asking for a vote, that's all.
Okay.
Vote me down, that's okay. I mean, if that's what you're gonna do, that's what I'm here anyway, I'm not gonna just withdraw. Vote me down and I'll apply for a D variance if that's what you're gonna do. But at least I have a record that I could proceed on if I choose to take a different path.
do you have anything else?
No.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application? In support of this application? I hear none and see none. Do I have a motion to move to conference?
So moved.
Is there a second, please? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Mr. Jaskowitz, you seem like you want to start.
Okay. I think clearly with the testimony from the zoning officer, what she is saying makes total sense. And we've had many cases in the past where unfortunately, people do not behave in the appropriate manner and they create, and with the expert witness who does this, that they're doing the wrong thing. We've had cases constantly, and there is a out for the applicant where she can come in front of this board, ask for a use variance, and be granted her wish, just taking a path that makes more sense to us. This does not seem right to me. I believe our zoning officer, I think she presented it well. There are egresses down there, you can get in and out of the house. All you really have to do is slap a door in there. You could eat, sleep, drink, bathe, and leave.
Except
That-
wash.
Oh, but that's not a prerequisite, and I gotta tell you, I know a person who has $1 million house in Montclair, and their washer dryer is a stackable in the kitchen. So it can be done, and I have to, in my judgment, I believe that's possible, and it might not be her doing, but it certainly could be the next person. So if there's an out for this person to get what they need, I would rather them take that, and I would be voting no on your
Can I
terms.
just, what am I asking for if I come in for a variance?
It doesn't matter.
No,
We're at the point,
I need direction.
you've been given
No,
direction.
I'm not asking for a variance for a two-family dwelling, because we're not asking for a two-family dwelling. So what am I asking for?
You're asking.
Is
for
there a D
two-family.
variance
know
to
that?
add a second kitchen and still be a one-family dwelling?
Deed, with the deed restriction.
You're asking for a two-family because you're.
I'm not asking, I don't want a two-family. I don't want a two-family. I'm not asking for a two-family.
Sir, I don't.
No, I want to know what I'm asking. What am I asking for?
It's not our job to
Yes,
tell you what
are
you're
asking for a two-family with a deed restriction, that if they sell this property, it'll be returned to us.
But I don't want a two-family
Well, then
dwelling.
you don't want to be here then.
See, that's the problem.
I'm telling you how to do it.
No, but I
Just
come in,
spoon feed
but
you.
they
They
run
might
with
as well
it, they
write the
run with it,
application for
the
you.
deed restriction runs with the land, I mean, the variance runs with
Right
the
now,
land.
We're,
Right now, Mr.
all right,
Board-
time out, we're in the conference. okay?
I don't want a
So you're
two-family
over.
The
dwelling.
board.
You're over, you
the board
had
is
your
in
speed.
conference. So let the board finish the comments. They're gonna vote on your appeal, and then you can take that and do with it what you will. So.
Mr. Reddy.
I just want, if I can, I just want to say, we talk about not having a laundry room. I grew up in an apartment which we didn't have a laundry room, and it was considered a dwelling. We had to take our laundry, either a laundromat or the laundry room that is part of the apartment complex. So just because there's not a washer and dryer, in my mind, doesn't mean you can't live there. That's how, and the zoning officer explained everything, what is considered a dwelling multiple times, and everybody up here has basically given you the out to get what you need.
I know, but I
That's-
don't want a two-family dwelling.
Nobody's saying that. I'm not even gonna talk to you because we're in conference, like he said. I'm just stating what I feel about this, and that's why I will be voting no.
Thank you, Mr. Mazzarella. Mr. Reddy, you want
Yeah, I agree with the same concerns with other board members. I like mother and family, mother and daughters to be together. However, two family, with two kitchens, that's not in one building.
Ms. Grignani,
I have no further comment.
thank you.
I believe well, I will. I didn't, but now I do. You've been given some direction from this board. And I think it's in your best interest, not only in your best interest, but in your client's interest, to follow through. You're not asking for a two-family, we're not giving you a two-family. You possibly need, not possibly, you will need a deed restriction and a D variance. Apply for that and come before this board again.
Who's next on our?
Oh, I don't want to cut you, go ahead.
For me, no, I think I agree to what our zoning officer said. It was so nice. Actually, she gave the answer, and I too felt that was very fair. What you're asking, you're getting. The only condition was just to be fair for the next families in case if it's sold. So I agree with this board, but you have the answers.
I do not think that the applicant met their burden, that the zoning officer's interpretation was incorrect. I also feel that the board has been overly generous in guidance, and therefore I will be voting no.
Mr. Berkowitz?
Basically, I agree pretty much with everybody else has said.
Thank you.
I think it's two dwelling units, regardless of whether it's doors or not.
Okay, we are going to vote on an A appeal of the administrative officer. She has explained why she did what she did. And we are obligated to either support her or not support her. I don't see any reason not to support her. But let me just give you a little other information. When people come to us with health needs, with elderly parents' needs, I have never, ever, ever seen this board turn down a variance application, whether it was a D or C or whatever, okay? I won't be here, but I can tell you that the rest of this board is very compassionate with regard to family, health, etc. So just come for the D variance, and we can let Jennifer continue to do what she does very well. And I can almost guarantee you'll get your variance, because I don't think it's a big thing. With a deed restriction and etc., or if the family ever moved out, kitchen goes, something to that effect. Have a motion to come out of conference?
So moved. Second. Are we voting yes or no?
We're voting yes on a denial.
Yes. on the
Somebody
denial.
want
You are voting yes to affirm
Yeah, okay.
the decision of the hearing officer.
Thank you. Who made that motion?
Jaskowitz.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz,
Yes. Excuse me, yes.
Grignani,
Yes,
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Petty,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. So the zoning officer's opinion has been upheld. Thank you.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Hopefully-
again, I wish you the best of luck and
Thank you.
enjoy your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
We hope to
I'm
see
sure
you
the
back
board,
soon.
I'm sure the board will miss you.
Don't manage. Don't manage. Nobody's irreplaceable. I found that out. Oh, boy. Okay. 2402. Yeah. Intendra Panya, 511 Lakeshore Drive, C variance to construct a balcony in the shed. Good evening.
Okay, can you please raise your right hands? One second. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, please state your names, spell your last name, starting over here on the right.
My name is Hitendra Pandya. I'm here for 511 Lakeshore Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey.
Would you speak up, please? Hold the mic closer.
My name is Kajal Pandya. We are here for 511 Lakeshore Drive, Parsippany.
And you own that property, correct?
Yes.
And what
Yes.
is it they would like to do?
We like to add a balcony on the second floor.
Okay, can we
And
just
then-
go over what, you're looking for a front yard setback of 20.6 feet where 25 is allowed. You're looking for yards and courts,
Yes.
shed side yards, 6 feet allowed, you're going 3 feet. Yards and courts, shed rear yard, allowed 6, you're requesting 3. Yards and courts open deck, 31.85 is allowed, you're proposing 31.01.
Yeah.
Building coverage allowed 23.88, you're proposing 25.95. You're in an R4 zone with, it's a big lot, so you don't have you don't have any constraints because of the size of your lot.
It's a corner lot.
It's a
It's a
corner
corner
lot.
lot.
So you got 2 front yards, the infamous 2 front yards.
What is this nature of this balcony? Is it just an open
Yeah, is the open,
platform, or is it got poles underneath it to hold it up?
no, there is no pole underneath,
So
is
it's just gonna
open.
stick out
Yes,
5 feet,
yes,
railing around it?
yes.
No
Yes.
roof?
No roof.
No roof.
Why don't you explain why you want to do what you want to do?
The balcony, because when we start building this house, we realize we have a very beautiful view, the lake. So that is the reason we wanted to add the balcony over the garage.
Have you discussed this at all with your neighbors? Is there any issue with encroaching on neighbors?
No, nobody has.
Nobody said anything.
No.
What's the hardship with, the 6-foot, setback for the shed?
The shed?
Is that an existing shed?
No, it was the old house, they have the shed over there, but when we constructed, we remove everything, yeah.
And you can't move it another 3 feet?
Yeah, we can move.
What's the fence consist of?
What is that?
What type of fence is that?
What
around
kind
that
of
Fence.
back corner?
Fences?
What's there now?
Nothing is
There is
there.
nothing, yeah.
Your survey shows a fence. Metal fence offline. Is that-
Oh, yeah, that's a metal fence, yeah, the old one, yeah.
Whose fence is that? Yours or the neighbors?
I think that's ours, yeah.
And what does it consist of?
What?
When you say a metal fence, is it
Yes.
sheet metal or
It's sheet
wire
metal,
or-
yeah. Sheet metal, yeah. It's a wire, yeah. It's a wire.
which? Is it chain link fence?
He has no
Do you know what a chain link fence is?
You can see through it?
Chain.
Oh, yeah, we can see through, yeah.
How tall?
The
is it?
chains are like this.
Yes, yes, yeah,
How
yeah.
tall is it?
Yeah.
See through.
How tall it is?
It's a 6 feet, yeah.
Is there anything growing on it or is it just open?
No, it's just open, yeah.
No slats, no anything?
No,
Any shrubbery over there?
no,
Nothing?
no.
You're willing to forego the 3-foot requirement, and the 3
Yes.
foot to make it 6 foot, and that'll take number 2 and number 3 out of the mix tonight. So we're only dealing with a front yard, and is that on the side street, or is that, the balcony, is it gonna be on the side street, or the street where your house is addressed?
It's on the Atlantic, yeah, the side.
It's on the Atlantic, so it's
Yeah.
not, so it's on the side yard?
Yes.
Okay? And the yards and courts and the building coverage are not really out of whack, they're only a couple of points.
Mhm.
Any other questions by the board? No.
I just want to make sure you understand. So you have agreed to move the shed
Yes,
6 feet from the property line
yes,
on each corner.
Okay.
Understand?
yep.
Okay.
Great. Any questions on the board over here? No? Any members of the public have any questions of these witnesses on the testimony given this evening? I hear none and see none. There's nothing else you'd like to add, right? Anything, nothing else you'd like to add?
No,
Yes,
no, this is it, yeah.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to the application and in support of the application? I hear none and see none. We don't need to go into conference. Somebody say why it's a good application.
There is a reasonable application, the resident want to make some view observation things and all. So, and also he agreed to move the shed 6 feet away from the side yard and 2 yards.
Thank you. Someone frame a quick resolution so we can move on?
I can do it.
Good.
Application number 2402, Hitendra Pandya, 511 Lakeshore Drive, Block 329, Lot 5, in the R4 zone. I recommend we grant the C variance to construct the balcony and shed, provided the shed is 6 feet.
Is there a second?
Second reading.
Any discussion? Nora, please call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Eddie.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
I retain.
Yes. Results of variance is granted. We will memorialize this at our next meeting, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And you can contact Nora, you'll get your paperwork, and be ready to roll. Enjoy your additions.
Thank you, Mr. Robert,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations, Mr. Robert.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Application 2412, Temple Beth Am. I understand that Mr. O'Neill has a very brief application here.
Well, good evening, everyone. Joseph O'Neill for Temple Beth Am. Believe it or not, I used to be known for my brevity. Yeah, we're gonna, well, I'm gonna show you tonight. So Temple Beth Am. This is a application for what is basically a second sign on the site, identical to the sign of the existing temple, because the two temples are in fact using the same building. So the conditions of that the existing temple put on Temple Beth Am is, you can't have a bigger sign than we have, and you can't be any closer to the road. So that is what is before the board tonight. There are no dimensional variances related to the sign. The only variance is that it's two signs on one property. But there, if you look at the application, you'll see they're identical in nature. So we think this one would be a good approval for the board. Certainly want to support the congregation.
With respect to did you read Mr. Lemaris's report with
I
respect to the
did.
location of the existing sign?
Yeah, it's about 27 feet off the setback.
About 27 feet.
Yeah, I can get it.
Can you get,
Bear with me one second.
because I think that was one of his concerns as to the exact location of the existing sign.
Yes, the issue is because the setback is from the property line, and the dimension that's shown on the plan is from the edge of pavement, and there's no way to guarantee where the road is side to side within the right-of-way.
And I think the concern was probably whether there needed to be another variance for that, which we don't want to necessarily deal with, correct? Because you're not asking for that.
Yes, just one second.
The setback, if you put no less than 15 feet, would probably cover it.
If there's some way to make sure that the proper setback is there, yeah.
Well, looking at where the curb is on the driveway.
I mean, if there's an old site plan that may
The
have.
setback is 10 feet in that zone, so, the church side.
10 feet or 15 feet?
I believe it's 16 feet that we're set back. We've got the same setback.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and say,
No less than 15.
no less,
No less than 15 feet.
yes,
Okay.
What else is there, Mr. O'Neill? Anything else?
that's really the whole story. I'd like
That's
to
it, huh?
swear Mr. Burge in to make sure he has nothing else to add. Do you have anything to add?
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear from that any testimony that you happen to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Burge, you drew the short straw in the congregation. You get to handle the
Say his
sign.
name and address.
Yeah, name and address, please. Name and address, please.
My name, Mark Burge, 20 Winding Way, Parsippany.
Birdies? Bird?
20 Winding Way, Parsippany.
B-U-R-G.
B-U-R-G-A.
Any other, and
You have nothing to add, right?
he has nothing, okay.
And everything I said.
He's saying he has nothing there. He's a ventriloquist.
Would you concur with what Mr. O'Neill just?
Whatever he says, yes.
Okay.
Be careful.
My favorite day.
Any members of the public have any questions of Mr. Burge?
I just have one question. We have to talk about the lighting.
All right.
The lighting is,
Is the existing sign lit?
I believe it's lit from the grass. Is that true? Yes, and we'll have the same type of lighting.
Is that lit all the time?
Indirect.
Indirect lighting from the spotlight.
This is what they want.
Now, it says that lighting is not permitted.
This is the existing sign.
So how do we address that?
I'd like to amend the application for lighting for both temples. I want to come out of here with a violation for it. So with the board's permission, I'd like to add the lighting on the signage that is existing for the existing temple will be duplicated. And since that is not conforming lighting, we'll go ahead and ask for a variance for both signs.
No, silly question, but are you authorized to represent the other temple?
Yes, they have signed the application for this. We are.
Okay.
Any
I'm
other
authorized
questions?
to have them keep their lighting.
Any other questions by the board? Did I ask if there's any members of the public? I think I did.
I cut you off, you didn't.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witnesses on this testimony given? Please come forward.
My name is Larry.
Whoa. Gotta use a microphone, please.
My name is Larry Lomrantz, Lomrantz. I represent Adath Shalom, the other synagogue in the building. We have signed the application. I just want to clarify one thing. Lighting is not permitted on the sign, and there is no intention for lighting to be permitted on the sign for Temple Beth Am. That's in our agreement with them.
All right, so we amend accordingly.
Okay. So we're not gonna worry about lighting at all?
No lighting.
No lighting at all?
That's what it said.
Okay.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
That question.
All right, and any other members of the public have any questions? Okay. You through, Joe?
Hold on.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application? in support of this application? I hear none and see none. Do we need a conference, ladies and gentlemen?
No,
Somebody make a recommendation for this de minimis request?
I recommend it's a de minimis request.
Thank you. Somebody frame a resolution?
I'll take care of it. 2412 Temple Bethlehem, 8841 Mountain Way, Block 15, Lot 6 in the R1M zone. I recommend the board grant the C variance to construct a freestanding sign.
Second ready.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Petty.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Results of variance is granted. As soon as you get your approval in 2 weeks, you put your sign up. Okay?
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you, Mark.
Bernie, good seeing you again. Ronnie Burns.
I thought I recognized the name.
Okay, I guess Mr. O'Neill's hanging in for another one. Am I correct?
You are correct.
2360 K&S Real Estate, my old property, 9 North Beverwick Road. C variance for parking.
Yeah.
I just would like to say that I've had no relationship to this property since 2018, and I see no conflict in sitting on this application. Okay with that?
Is this the application with the resolution that
Yes.
potentially needed to be amended? Is that?
Yes, this is the property, the original approval in the resolution, which was dated February 27th, 2019, due to a miscommunication between my office and Mr. King's office, paragraph 7 of the fax is wrong. It reads, "The applicant also agreed to reduce the original request for 30 parking spaces to 25 parking spaces." What it's supposed to read is, "The applicant also agreed to reduce the original requested variance for the 30 parking spaces down to 25 parking spaces because only 22 spaces fit on the property." If you look at the plan that was provided, you'll notice the property is completely full. There was never going to be 23, 24, or 25 spaces. There's just simply no room. So as part of this, we would ask that that be modified in the original application. And
How many
what we can-
spaces are there?
There are 22 spaces,
There's 23 spaces.
22 spaces.
22.
So the resolution that was adopted in 2019 should have read,
It needed the line requested variance for 30 spaces where only 22 are provided.
The site plan that shows 21.
Did I screw that up already?
There's 2 handicap, 10 standard spaces on the north side, 9 next to the building. So 2, 9, and 10 comes out 21.
21.
No, I'm being corrected that we have 19 spaces.
I mean, might as well get it right, man.
Well, why not? At least once with 2 applications. We should try to get
This
it.
originally had 3 commercial components, right?
It still has 3 commercial components, but 2 of the spaces have been rented by a restaurant.
Okay. So there's
So
2 users.
there's going to be 2 users now. And what we're proposing is Flawless by Chris, which exists already on North Beverwick Road, is going to move down. And this is Chris, who I'm going to introduce. She's going to.
I'm sorry, what type of business is it?
It's called Flawless by Chris. It's at 118 North Beverwick Road.
Yes, and I'm,
We're going to get you sworn. Just hold on.
can you raise your right hand, please?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Sure. My name is Christina Lempesis, Lempesis, and I'm a resident of Parsippany at 15 Hill Court.
So why don't you describe what it is we're talking about here?
Sure. So I currently have space at 118 North Beverwick Road, and it's just me. I offer aesthetic services, and it's a one-on-one appointment-only basis. And I'm looking to expand and open something a little bit larger, still working on a one-on-one basis, but to provide something more beautiful for the community. And for
Can
the
you tell
women
us
here.
some of the services you provide?
Sure, I do facials, I customize cosmetics, I work a little bit with wellness and helping clients with beauty from the inside out.
But no hair.
No hair. Don't let me touch hair. I'm not a hair person. I'm not a hair salon. I know that my industry could fall under a salon service title, but that is not what I am. I am customized wellness and aesthetics, and I offer more of a concierge boutique kind of service for women, servicing them. I'm not a factory like a lot of other places out there.
Are we just here because of the parking?
We're just here because of parking.
Her business is a permitted use.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so it's just parking.
It goes from what we got approved up to 29 now. So if the 29 was required, we need the variance for 10.
That you're not gonna have.
Which we can't.
You can't. You can't, you don't have any.
The parking
Requirement
requirement
would be,
increased because of her use?
yes, because it's classified as a spa.
But in fact, it's just gonna be her parking and possibly one, maybe an overlap of two, most likely.
Correct. And if I just may add, I've been at 118 North Beverick for 6 years, and myself and my client park on North Beverick. We don't have a parking lot.
We don't anticipate any additional parking beyond what's going on right now.
No, it's going to be one treatment room, so I don't think I could fit more than one person in one treatment room.
There's plenty of street parking on that stretch of road
Correct.
also. Because you've got a lot of places have their own lot, so.
But because of the,
Your clients are gonna park right in front of your door on the street, they're not even gonna park in the parking lot. No. Trust me, I've watched.
They actually all do. They park right behind me in front of the building right now, so.
now there is one other thing that we would like to amend for. I understand the approved sign is right in front of your window. You would prefer that be moved. And where that is the corner near that is the southern corner of the lot, southeastern corner of the lot, closer to the other strip shopping center. So what we would propose doing is flipping it to the other side of the building, right on the corner, off the corner, but 2.3 feet back from the property.
It's gonna be on the side of the building?
No, it will be between the sidewalk and the handicap parking spaces. Lined up with the corner of the building. Actually, we feel it's a better.
Is this freestanding?
It's freestanding that was approved, yeah.
So there's a freestanding sign.
We would like to move that out of the clutter of the tree, the wire coming down from the pole, everything else, have it stand by itself, actually near the parking lot, so people can identify the parking lot a little easier. But what we would need is a setback of 2.3 feet. What that does is, the way the bricks are laid, it keeps it off of what is, kind of lines up as the sidewalk, and still leaves enough room between the handicap parking stalls, between the sign and the building, to have easy access for wheelchairs or whatever might come by, and plenty of room.
You know, I heard today. I heard today that they're doing some regentrification on North Beverwick Road.
And this has already been approved along those lines.
Okay.
Is the existing sign right here?
Yes. No, it's right here, that box there.
Okay. You're gonna move it over to the handicap side?
Yes, Mr. Candiel is in the back, and he has an exhibit, or if the board would like to see that. That's basically where we're going.
Not a significant,
No, well, it
change.
is a variance.
Yeah, it's a variance, but it's not.
And who did you coordinate this with? You said, I seem to mention you coordinated with some improvements out there?
Well, we're trying to stay away from, it was originally the tenant's request to get the sign out from in front of that window where she's at.
Right.
And it's in and amongst the clutter, there's a tree there, there's a.
I thought you said the movement was coordinated with some other improvement the town was making.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, they're doing, streetscape improvements of the sidewalks.
Right.
They're improving the sidewalks. which is why this sidewalk was brick. And my understanding is it's gonna be something similar to that up and down the street.
Okay.
So they're not gonna change in front of the store? This is
Well,
already-
we're leading the pack.
All right, it's already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need a variance for the sign.
2.3 feet back from the front side yard. From the front yard. Side yard has plenty of room, no problem.
Any other questions by the board?
No.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on a testimony she's given this evening? I hear none, see none. Want to add anything?
Nothing further.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to the
There's
application?
another witness?
No.
Oh, sorry.
In support of this application? I hear none and see none. Bernie, is it a de minimis request?
Certainly is.
Thank you. Frame a resolution, somebody, so we can move on?
Application 23:60, K&S Real Estate, 9 North Bevel Road, Block 611, Lot 8.01, Zone B-5, recommend granting a C variance for parking.
And the sign,
And the sign?
And the
Do
sign.
you
And the
have
sign.
the right parking numbers required?
Yes, it is,
31,
it is 19.
and
And 29 is what's required.
29 is required, and you have 21.
19.
19?
These are
Two
not
handicap.
handicapped.
Two handicap also there, right? 21.
19.
Altogether 19.
Do we have to put that in there too?
So
Yeah.
you want variance relief from the requirement of 29 spaces to permit you to have 21 non-handicap
19.
spaces. 19.
You're asking for 10.
Asking for a variance for 10, yes, thank you.
And for the variance for the 19?
Second ready.
Any discussion or call the roll?
Mr. Berkowitz?
Yes.
Grignani?
Yes.
Jaskowitz?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Mazzarella?
Yes.
Petty?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Hurricane? Driver King?
Yes, I'm sorry. The result is the variance is granted. You'll be getting your 2 weeks, yes, in 2 weeks.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you for helping my dream come true, and congratulations, Mr. Eric.
Joe, do you want Bill to shoot you a copy? Because just make sure we're all on the same.
I think I got it.
Well, we're
Got it?
gonna
Okay,
trade copies.
okay.
I actually got a draft with the wrong number on it, it's in my office, so we'll straighten that out. Okay.
Thanks, thank you again.
Good luck, Chris.
Thank
Nice meeting you.
Take care.
Congrats.
Thank you. All right, and we come up to the final case of the evening. 2411 HCR Holdings, Wonder Restaurant in the old Capital Bank building.
Yes, once again, Joseph O'Neill for the applicant. This is a reworking of the Capital One building. There are only very minor changes to the building, actually, as you're going to see. It's freely adaptable for use as a Wonder Restaurant, which is a great new concept of these restaurants. They basically took over for Blue Apron. Let's mark what's being handed out as Exhibit A1 for this evening, if you could. That's not you.
Very popular.
Introduce?
Go ahead and get you all lined up. Just hand that out. This is for you. Would you bring this up?
Who is wonderful? Who is wonderful?
So I have with me this evening Jason Botcher of Wonder.
Can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you state your name and spell your last name?
Jason Botcher, B-O-T-T-C-H-E-R.
I'm sorry, would you spell again? Pull the mic closer.
B-O-T-T-C-H-E-R.
Thank you.
Mr. Botcher, what is your position with Wonder?
I'm an Associate Director of Governance for Wonder. I've been with the company for just about 3 years now.
you're fully familiar with the operations?
Correct.
Intimately familiar?
Yes.
Why don't you walk us through what the Wonder concept is?
Sure,
Get back.
sure. So what I did have passed out is a PowerPoint I had put together. Unfortunately, I couldn't procure a projector in time. Wonder is a food technology startup. And if you could just follow with me with the PowerPoint, and I'll let you know when you should change slides. Right now, you should be on page 1.
I apologize, but can you pull the mic closer so we can hear it?
Sure.
Thank you.
So Wonder is a food technology startup. Founded several years back before COVID. The model was quite different. It was originally mobile restaurants or food delivery. You would order via a mobile application, and a food truck would show up to your house, and we would complete the cooking process for your order in front of your house, deliver your meal hot. About 12 months ago, call it 15 months ago, we shifted direction entirely, and we are now opening brick and mortar restaurants. And Parsippany is what we hope to be one of our next locations in northern New Jersey. What differentiates us and what makes Wonder different is our approach to restaurants and to the business, to the food industry. What separates us is really our partnership and our strategy. We partner with best-in-class restaurants from across the country and across numerous different cuisines, along with celebrity chefs that are well-known throughout the United States, and reproduce their cuisines, their menus, using our proprietary technology and cooking techniques. We have production facilities in northern New Jersey, including our primary production facility in Cranford, which is a 39,000 square foot central kitchen. We have a pizza production facility in Newark, and we have a barbecue production facility in West Orange. So with that, we work closely with the partners to reproduce those cuisines, like I had mentioned, within those facilities. From there, everything is distributed essentially to the restaurants where preparation is completed on-site, made to order. So to run through some of, on page 2, some of the chefs that in restaurants that we work with, Bobby Flay, for example, was one of our first partners. We've partnered with Marcus Samuelson, Michael Simon, Mark Murphy, along with Jose Andres more recently, who are some of our partners and in some cases sit on our board. We've also, like I said, partnered with best-in-class restaurants across the country. Chai Pani comes to mind, which is award-winning Indian street food out of North Carolina. Tejas Barbecue, which is one of our best sellers. They're located just outside of Dallas. And then we also have an incredible slate of chefs that work for Wonder. And with that, we work with those chefs and create our own white label. We call them restaurants, but menus and cuisines that are then made available in our locations.
So, as you describe it, the cooking is really done off-site, the original cooking, but it is the final prep and product done on-site, all electric cooking.
Correct. Yeah, so all of the equipment located in the back of house is electric. I won't go into too much detail into our preparation techniques, but it will include ventless fryers, impingement ovens, water baths, and then obviously everything else that comes with the back of house, whether it be heat lamps and shelving.
So you don't actually have a barbecue in the back.
Correct. There's no open flame in the back, and there's no rotisserie.
Enhance fire suppression system.
So by code, we actually don't need a hood, but we do install a Type 2 hood over the hotline for heat and condensation management.
Not for smoke.
Not for smoke. There's no smoke. Correct. And I believe our architect will go into that for more detail.
Are you mostly takeout and delivery?
So the split in the suburbs, what we're seeing is it's between 60 and 70-30, 60-40, 70-30, depending on location. That's generally what we're seeing with it, more delivery and pickup as opposed to dine-in, but we do offer dine-in as well. So there will be a front of house here for seating of, I believe it's 8 patrons. It's 8. It's a limited seating front of house. All of our locations vary in size based on what the market projections look like and what the demand and the split in that demand is going to be. And in this case, it is a smaller front of house.
How many delivery vehicles do you have there?
So in terms of deliveries, all deliveries are made via passenger vehicles. And so in terms of delivery vehicles being on site, there's none on site. They're only on site to pick up. And we work with third-party applications, whether it be DoorDash, Uber Eats, Seamless, any of the other typical apps where delivery drivers show up.
The delivery drivers are not your employees.
We also do have employees as well. And with that, they're still not on site. They're out making deliveries. We will flex as necessary based on what projections are for a given week, or based on just an increase in demand on a given day.
So it's all delivered. That 8, which is really just a suggestion of seating.
Correct.
The model is for delivery, be it third-party apps or you're limited.
So just to understand the business again, you have a brick and mortar that you get food brought to your facility in some state of readiness that from multiple kinds of ethnicity or product, you bring it in, and then people call in an order, and you finish the cooking process in your facility, and 90% of your food is going to get delivered, if not higher.
It's that 60-70 split is really pickup, delivery versus dining.
No one's eating there for the most part.
No, you do get some people eating in, but here, the split will probably be in that 70 range.
Just so I understand the business.
Correct.
Okay.
What are your hours?
Hours are going to be at this location, opening 11 for lunch, through 9:30, for dinner service. Right now, we don't offer breakfast, but there is a possibility that, that will be become a part of our offering in the future.
One of the comments that the board's engineer had was the space of your cooking facility relative to the space. Is that a product of how your business operates?
Correct. That's a product of just our preparation techniques. So our general split in most locations is very heavy on the back of house side.
And just to explain the comment, the parking calculations is based upon the seating area in a restaurant. So this building, the proportions are backwards. Normally, you have more dining room area than kitchen. Here, it's more kitchen than dining room area. So just wanted to point out that the parking calculations are a little off. If you had a standard restaurant of this size, the proportions would be different, so the parking would be greater. And again, we're discussing how this works and as far as trying to assess the parking.
So let me ask you a question if I can. So just say people decided they want to eat there, so you would have like a waiting line? Has that ever come up?
So there's numerous different ways to order. You can either order on the website, our Wonder app, or you can order from a third-party service. Typically, what we see when people are eating in, usually they're ordering via an app as opposed to on-site. We also do have 2 self-serve kiosks at the location where you would be able to place your order. And then at that point, our front-of-house employee or brand ambassador would provide you with your order.
So there's no
Generally
real
speaking,
wait staff or anything like that?
No, there's no traditional wait staff.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have one more. So you have, of all the restaurants that I guess are listed on the back here, that'll be participants in this particular restaurant, you have components of the entire menus from each of those restaurants?
Correct.
In-house. It doesn't have to get made somewhere else, then brought to you, then finished. How should I put it? If I ordered something right now, you'd have it there.
Correct.
Just finish it off and then I come get it.
Yeah, and stock on site is all based on whatever.
The trends and all that,
projections
yeah,
are, yes.
gotcha. Okay, that's all.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness? I hear none, see none.
Thank you, Mr. Botcher.
Thank you.
We'll go on to our engineering.
Okay, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name and provide us with your business address.
Joseph Holzapfel with Bowler Engineering, Holz as in zebra, AP as in Peter, F as in Frank, EL as in Larry. address 30 Garber Square, Ridgewood, New Jersey, 07450.
Mr. Hazapo, would you give the board, please, the benefit of your experience?
Yes, I've been a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 2021, have my Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from NJIT, and I've been with Bowler for over 8 years, specializing in site civil design.
Licenses are in order.
Yes.
I'd submit him as an expert for civil engineering purposes. Mr. Hazapo, you heard me describe that we're only making minor changes to the Capital One site. Please do not make a liar out of me and explain the site application.
Yes, so as one of the exhibits as part of the slide deck that Mr. Botcher had handed out, on the aerial exhibit, you'll see that a lot of that site will remain the same in our proposed conditions, which I will get into. The site is known as Block 729, Lot 1. It's within the O3, or the Office Professional District. It's about 1.06 acres, and it is generally surrounded by similar uses of office, retail, and restaurant on all four sides. To the north, you have Route 46, and to the west, you have Grange Road. The existing site today has the old Capital One Bank, which is approximately 2,500 square feet. There are two access points, one right in, right out on Route 46, and one full movement driveway on Grange Road. Those two are remaining as is. Circulation around the site will also remain. You have two-way drive aisles on the north and east sides of the building, and you have a one-way counterclockwise oriented drive aisle maneuver on the west and the south sides of the building. I will now refer to an exhibit that we have. It's site and grading plan. It was actually part of the submission package that went to the board for a review. It was prepared by my office and is dated January 22nd, 2024. For the benefit of the record, I can mark that as Exhibit A2.
Yes, thank you.
So that was not submitted?
It was submitted, so if we don't have to,
Colorized? It was submitted in color?
this is how it was submitted, yes.
Oh, we don't need to mark it.
Then we don't have to mark it. Okay, great. So for orientation, north is to the top of the page. So for this, you can see a lot of the improvements are very similar. The purpose of tonight's meeting is the retrofit of the existing bank building with the restaurant use that our architect will get into a little more detail. We are proposing a walk-in cooler on the south side of the building, which is approximately 200 square feet. We are proposing very minor ADA improvements and adding some additional signage and reworking some of the facade signage for this, which again, our architect and our planner will discuss in a little more detail. As I mentioned, the access points remain the same. The circulation generally remains the same for both vehicles and for pedestrians. From a variance perspective, this is a non-permitted use due to the restaurant being the entirety of the building, whereas the code only allows for about 20% or less of the building to be a restaurant use. We're also proposing a variance, as indicated in the engineer's letter, for the loading space size due to the truck that we are anticipating using, and as per the code, you do require a double the length in terms of what is able to fit on the site. And we also have a few signage variances related to the wall signs, which our architect will get into. Lastly,
In terms of the variance for the loading area, can you explain that, exactly what you're asking for?
Yes, sure. So we are anticipating a box truck, an SU40. It's approximately 39.5 feet long. The code does require double the length of the truck that you are anticipating for the site to be available for maneuvering. Based on how the site is located, we don't see an issue with the SU40 traversing the site, but that is what the variance is for. We don't quite have the double of the length. Okay. So really minor modifications that I had mentioned from a lighting and landscaping perspective. We are not really changing the outer limits of the property. Therefore, no changes to lighting and landscaping are anticipated. And the one other part of the application we are here for is a minor soil movement application. The code requires anything 100 cubic yards or less, and we are anticipating less than 100 cubic yards of movement.
We're actually amending for that because you caught that late in the process. We'll get the materials to the board. It is a minor in connection with installation of the sign, is that correct?
Correct. Installation of the sign and the pad for the walk-in cooler. So
Installation of the freestanding sign? Was the freestanding sign part of the original application?
I believe so.
As part of this original, yes.
The design may have changed slightly, but the location and the dimensions have not.
Because I remember a reference to signs on the front facade of the building and two sides of the building.
Correct.
But there's also a freestanding sign.
Correct.
Yes, a freestanding sign along 46, but there was a sign, the principal sign on the front, on the frontage, but two circular wall-mounted signs on the western and eastern facades. We're only going with one circular on the western facade.
So I noticed for the number of signage variance, but we've removed that by removing that sign, which was part of the original application. So there are only really two mounted signs on the building, because it's on the corners, of course, permitted. But when it was three, that was 1, 2.
Because you have two front.
That's right, two frontages.
So you don't need any variances for the signs that are physically located on the building.
No, we do not.
Do you need a variance for the freestanding sign?
No, we do not.
We were contemplating that being. That concludes my direct testimony.
Any questions by the board? Any members of the public have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Oh, sure, I'm sorry.
Mr. Holsapple, when we spoke on the phone, we talked about the easements that are shown on the plans. First off, there were site triangle easements within the right-of-way of Route 46, which obviously we don't need. So would you be, is it agreeable that the site easements would be adjusted to be basically on the property, those pieces that are required?
Correct. So as part of this resolution compliance, if the board is to approve it, we will have a title search done to see what is the status of those easements and go ahead and do what we need to and remove it from the right-of-way prior to the CO.
Okay, because the other issue also similar with the easements was that the plans show a proposed variable utility easement.
Correct.
Which, when we spoke, weren't sure what that was.
Correct. So none of these easements are for this application. What had happened was the surveyor had documents of proposals that have gone through the boards at this township for the old bank. So in their eyes, it has not been complete yet because there was not a title search. So we are working with the landlord to get the title search for the property, and we will either perfect those easements or remove them if they're no longer required as part of previous approvals.
Okay. With respect to the stormwater, this project appears to have been approved after the new stormwater, the current stormwater regs came in, so that the maintenance manual will have to be amended to show that this is the current owner and who's responsible, so on and so forth. And also, the stormwater system includes a contact device, which is a filter of sorts. That's gonna have to be serviced, as part of the, I would think, the certificate of occupancy, to make sure that that thing is still working. The basin has to be maintained. It needs some work. So I would be recommending that the basin be brought up to the original approval, and that all the stormwater management operations and maintenance manual be amended to show the current responsible party.
Sure, and if you have any further questions, I can let Mr. Bosker come back up, but we have, again, spoken to the landlord. They are still responsible for maintaining that basin, so they will do that as part of C of O and make sure that the town has the proper operation and maintenance manuals.
Yes, I've already been authorized to say we will take care of that.
Yeah.
And then there's the issue on the sidewalk along Grange Road. There needs to be some soil put in there in that area, fixed up a little bit.
Correct, so the applicant and the landlord will complete that as well prior to CLO.
Do your clients okay with that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Any members of the public have any questions? I hear none, see none. Next witness?
Jason?
Am I back? No.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Can you state your name, spell your last name, and provide us with your business address, please?
Sure. My name is Jason Daffner, D as in David, A, F as in Frank, N-E-R. Business address is 50 Hudson Street, New York, 10013.
Mr. Daffner, could you give the board, please, the benefit of your experience?
Sure. I have a master's in architecture. I've been practicing full-time for more than 27 years. I am licensed in the state of New Jersey, Massachusetts, Ohio, Illinois, Texas, and California.
I would submit Mr. Daffer is a expert for architectural purposes.
Good.
Mr. Daffer, could you walk us through what we're talking about here? You heard a question about basically the internal operations. Why don't we just get right into that?
You're saying the question from Mr. Joskowitz about the fire suppression? So great question. It's totally on point. Typically, the suppression system that you're talking about is triggered by grease-laden smoke, which comes from an open flame and/or a fryer with grease. But as discussed by our client, that fryer that's being used on this site has a ventilation system that's included. Otherwise, there's no open flame. All of the cooking equipment is otherwise, it's electric. So there will be a deferred submittal for a sprinkler system in the building, but the specific ANSEL system that you're describing isn't required.
Okay, thank you.
Now, we do have an exhibit up, I believe, with the showing of the front of house. Jason's bringing it up, I'm sorry.
So while we're getting the exhibit, I think the question came from this side of the board. We are showing seating for 8 members of the public, but there's also a standing table. So there's a banquette, so 2 sides on the banquette, 2 freestanding seats that also provides for accessible seating as needed, and then there are 4 seats facing north towards 46 along the counter.
How much of the business is actually just a pure walk-in? That they're driving, they see a sign and they come in?
I'm going to ask Mr. Botcher that question, since he's here.
So in the suburbs, that's less so the case. There's no way to really track that. In our New York City locations, obviously walk-in customers are a big driver.
Yeah, okay.
This is a rendering of the front of house. If you were to come in from the front door, this answers the question operationally. If a guest was not ordering from their personal device, there are some walk-up kiosks here where they could order. There's comfortable standing area if needed. You can see the seats in the background. And then the pickup, there's a merchandiser in case you wanted to pick up a cold drink or beverage, something like that. And then there's a pickup area here to the right.
And just for the record, what you have up on there is page 10 of A1.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
So this is the same space, but this is the view essentially if you walk in through the front door. So again, you'll see the ordering kiosks here in front of you. To your right is a merchandiser, and then there's a pickup window. So as a guest coming through here, the circulation flow is intuitive, it's smooth, and then you've got seating as you come around the corner, access to a restroom, fully accessible restroom for the guests only. There's a team member restroom that's back of house. And the materials, the look and feel, the style, it's contemporary generally speaking, but the materials, the coloring, the textures are relatively warm and humane, so it's an inviting space.
And are there 2 kiosks as pictured there?
Yes, there are two places to order.
I have more, it's just 2.
Correct.
Yeah. In the city, just out of curiosity, in the city where it's mostly walk-up, do you have more kiosks?
No.
Okay.
What do you do if more people show up to eat there than you anticipate? Does that occur?
Celebrate the sales.
Please send them Panera Bread.
So in terms of to dine
Wanting to
in,
eat in the restaurant?
to dine in, I mean, you know, essentially in a situation like that, our Upper West Side location, which is one of our busiest, my assumption would be they're going to walk out and take it as a takeout order, essentially a pickup order.
Oh, you have Westfield and Springfield, right?
Correct. So Westfield is a larger front of house. I can't remember the seat count there, but we haven't had any issues with overcrowding in the Westfield location. Our New Providence location as well, which was approved last month, that's going to have a larger front of house. But this being located on the 46 corridor, it's less of a, let's call it a traditional downtown feel. So the need for a larger front of house wasn't justified in this particular situation.
Questions about this rendering?
Mr. Daffer, I'd like to, go ahead. Continue with the renderings.
And so this is the view as you are picking up your food, looking back out. You're looking north towards 46. Here's the front entrance, and you can see the seating choices are arranged in front of you.
Let's talk a little bit about the cooler that's being put in the back, the
Yeah.
refrigeration unit that's being added to the back. It's about 200 square feet.
It's 205 square feet of usable area. It's 9 feet tall, but there's a section that's 10'5" tall. There's a piece of mechanical equipment. So in terms of form and how it affects your townscape, it's not really seen. First of all, it's on the south side of the building. It's off the street. You could never see it from the street, and it's covered by the existing bank drive-through canopy. So it's shown here. There will be an existing or a new opening to the back of house space, but you'd never see that because it's has to do with the door from the walk-in box.
So you're going to be rolling things out of that cooler. Employees are the only ones that have access to that. They're going to be rolling them on what type of thing?
Well, operationally, there'll be there's a speed rack or a dolly. I mean, it just depends on the scale of the goods.
So there's going to be a little ramp there at the door to facilitate their getting up in through that door?
Yes, there'll be so 2 openings on this south wall. One opening you won't see because it's accessible or it gives you access to the cooler from inside the building. There'll be a second opening, a person door right here, but again, it wouldn't be visible from the street.
And there's no access from the cooler out, right? You'd have to go into the building physically and then come out the other door.
That's correct.
Now, the trucks that do the delivery overnight, really, I understand they leave at about 1 a.m., start their deliveries at about 1 a.m. They're
Correct.
coming through and they're wheeling those speed racks right into the kitchen with the day's supplies. Right?
Correct.
And they'll be utilizing that same.
Yes.
They use that back door there?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Do your other freestanding restaurants have this arched look, or you just retrofit whatever?
We're taking the existing
Yeah.
structure and making the best use of it.
I have a stupid question. On page 7, why is there a car in the building?
Crossed my mind too, Bernie.
It's a question on the reflection. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a reflection in the glass of the page.
Could we transfer the stupidity to our shop for putting the reflection on there?
I'm glad it's there.
Part of, you sit there and eat, Bernie. It's one of the tables.
Just to dry that.
Yeah.
Now drive through.
Good catch.
Is there any other questions?
Any other questions?
Nope.
Is Mert the only member of the public here? Everybody else is with you?
I can't turn around. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
well, anyway, Mert, if you have a question, raise your hand, otherwise I'm gonna just pass through that, okay? You got it, man.
Well, we
Go
do
ahead.
have a traffic report if anyone's interested, but the bottom line there is, these excess parking, they anticipate Uber drivers and Uber Eats, and Grubhub, and these people will be utilizing it. They got plenty of room for that. No really added traffic problems. If you want to hear it, he is here. Otherwise, I would go right to plan.
Just a quickie on that. It's funny because we had a lot of discussion about Chick-fil-A and the traffic it would cause. It is astonishing. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's not even a line there.
No.
It's crazy. I'm sure they must be disappointed in how it's doing, but we were worried that they would be backing up on this side, that side. There's nothing there. So this is gonna do less than nothing.
The lesser man will point out.
No offense.
One other thing, though, you might want to put a net up there, because Topgolf's going over there, so you get a couple golf balls.
Well, that's why they have the roof, the balls
Yeah,
can roll
the
right
stick on the
off.
roof is sturdy.
Well, don't feel bad for Chick-fil-A, because it's operating exactly the way they explained it would to me.
And they didn't, because the other one, when it first opened, the traffic was crazy.
They're moving them out of there. Have you been through that driveway?
It's much less.
They move you out.
But, and they're happy with the opening?
Yeah, the parking lots are all full, the restaurants.
The
are full.
restaurants are Yeah, the full. restaurants
People,
full all the
I
time.
driven past,
A lot of
12
so
cars.
they have people with the apps, pick up
I
and
see no
everything.
car
Yeah.
backed up. It's crazy.
It's also the third one in the area. You got Morris
Yep.
Plains, Willowbrook, and this
Yep.
one, so it kind of alleviates
Yep.
some of the sides.
But anyway, they'll be fine.
Yeah, what are we talking about that for?
Seriously.
The Ranger games.
If that's all right, I'd
Good
like to
point.
get to
No.
our planner, Mr. Seckler.
Do most of your customers order on the app for delivery?
It's that, so either delivery or pickup accounts for about 70% of our business in the suburbs.
Nice, no, sounds good. Another witness?
We have our planner, Mr. Seckler, who's going to explain to you that restaurants are not permitted in this zone.
And he's gonna give us the,
Can you raise your right hand, please?
I'm going to give you the short version.
short version.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your business address.
My name is Matt Seckler, that's Seckler. I'm with Stonefield Engineering Design. Address is 92 Park Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey.
You were here for Topgolf.
I was.
You and I were here for Topgolf, so I would submit him again as an expert in planning.
We'll take.
No pressure, Mr. Seckler, but my medication ran out 7 minutes ago.
I want to watch that Ranger game, so I'll go quick. We're in the O3 zone here, which is an office zone. In fact, the minimum lot size for this zone is about over 2.5 times the size of this lot. This is actually the smallest lot that's not publicly owned in this O3 zone here, which makes it unique in this location. Opposite, on the other side of the street, we got the B1 and the B2 further to the east and the other side of Topgolf. So we do have business zones that have similar uses as what we're proposing here. But again, we are in a very small lot. It's already developed with basically the layout of the building that works well for this type of use. So I do believe this site is particularly suited for this type of application. Again, this is a corridor here where you do have really be difficult to find office use, especially in this environment, to try to come in on a site like this. That's so undersized. Plus, it's a gateway kind of area to 46 as you enter this business zone. There'll be no negative impact by creating a drive-through restaurant or a delivery first restaurant in this specific location because the traffic can be handled. The site has been designed with the previous drive-through use on it, so I don't believe there's any substantial negative impact. In terms of...
Interrupt you for 1 second,
Sure.
I'm sorry. So restaurants are permitted in this zone as long as they don't occupy more than 20%, correct?
Likely because as like an accessory to an office building, you would have a downstairs restaurant, which again, this can still serve, especially this type of model, the existing offices that are in the other office zones. I mean, there's office zones that have offices elsewhere in Parsippany, just very tough to put one here.
Redevelopment overlay,
Excuse me?
the Route 10 redevelopment overlays, 46.
46.
I think that's to the west, to the east.
Wrong place, take
Yep.
it back.
So again, with Topgolf coming into the east, and then you have the business zone located a little bit further east of there, this is a good transition for that area. Again, the adjoining properties, you've got, public properties nearby with all the courts from Smithfield Park. We have office on the other side of the highway that this could serve. This could be that kind of, restaurant downstairs, just it delivers to you instead of being in your office below. So I do think it works well in the O3 zone. Again, I don't see any substantial negative impact. I do believe this site is uniquely suited for this use because of how it's been previously developed as a drive-through use initially. I do believe it meets Purpose J, which is providing development with good planning. Again, being able to reuse a building is always better. It's also better for the environment than tearing everything down and building everything brand new in terms of disposal. I do believe that we also advanced Purpose I, which is visual environment, eliminating a vacancy that's been out here for about 2 years. Banks are not really expanding anymore. Be able to find something that uses that same footprint is unique here and does advance Purpose I. So I do believe this application does advance the necessary purpose of the municipal land use law, be granted the use variance on this application.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness. I do want to point out, though, I chased the engineer off so fast, we forgot to acknowledge that we have no problems at all with the conditions requested by Mr. Milanowitz in his reports.
Any questions of the planner?
No.
There is next door is the Empire Diner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right across the street from the old Empire.
Yep.
Right across that side road.
That's close.
No further
No
witnesses?
no summation?
No, I'll rely on the application, yes.
You need C variances as well?
We do need C variances, but I'm sure you're going to agree with me that they're merging with the D variance because of the particular nature of those variances and the restaurant use.
Yes, it's related to the signage that this restaurant, because it's not an office use, a restaurant use requires.
need a C variance for the footprint of the restaurant, less than 2,500 square feet or something like that? Did I read that somewhere?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you generally give these to Joe?
Let me just double check that. Apparently not the master of numbers.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application, the supporters of this application?
Sorry, I just want to get an answer to my question. Do you need a variance for that?
They're looking it up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you already got the answer.
I think you might.
What's the size of the building?
Yeah, the size of the building, I think, is less than 2,500 square feet, right?
Yes, it still is, circular. Yes, because we've added the cold box to the building, we're still underneath, so that's why we asked that.
I also think that kind of carries over with where drive-through restaurants are conditionally permitted, that is one of the conditions.
Right.
So again, this is not where it's conditionally permitted. So again, I think the overall use variance would kind of carry that with it as well.
I just want to make sure we haven't missed anything.
Big surprise.
This thing isn't taking on to become a drive-through restaurant.
No way.
It's a different operation altogether.
Correct.
I have a question, please.
I think we're killing
Your,
it. I'm sorry.
okay, your signage, will it be, lit in any way?
Yes.
Because we didn't discuss that.
Yes, the signage will be internally illuminated.
Thank you.
Decals on the side are going to be illuminated? The one decal.
The pendant sign, yeah, and the frontage, the primary sign on the frontage
But
as
it's
well.
racetrack, it's behind.
Correct. It's on a, yeah.
And will they turn off it when the restaurant closes, they go off, or is it a timer after?
Anything else? We're good? Any members of the public wish to speak in opposition and support? There's no members of the public here to speak. I'm sorry, what?
Nobody here.
Nobody here except Mert in the back. No summation, right?
I'll just rely on the application that's submitted. Thank you.
Do we need a conference, guys? or
No.
is this
No.
okay?
Nope.
Someone make a statement why food is good?
Food is good because you're taking a building that's empty, that you're doing not much to it, and you're putting it to use, and it sounds like an interesting business, and I'll be voting for it.
Okay, frame a resolution, somebody? Or we want to instruct the attorney to
Yeah, that's a good
draft a
idea.
resolution for the approval of us and the attorney.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second, Jaskowitz.
With the conditions, from your engineer.
Yes, yes. Okay, is there a second to that?
Jaskowitz.
Okay, any discussion? Nora, call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Petty.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. Result is a variance is granted. Welcome to town.
Thank you very
Good luck.
much.
Wish I was gonna be here longer. Damn.
How long will it be there?
Chair, congratulations.
We gotta open up one down in Ocean County, all right?
Say, I do believe it.
You got a tremendous amount of senior citizens down there.
I do believe we are starting to look and source locations down in both Monmouth.
Give me your exit, Bob.
Take us out, Chairman.
72
Thanks, Ron.
is LBI.
Yeah.
That's, Route 9.
Well, LBI would probably be
It's got its pluses and minuses, but 72 is where the action is.
Yeah,
And you get a good seasonal business too, in the summertime.
in the summertime,
You get
absolutely.
a great kick.
Yeah, we're expanding at a rate that I know I can't keep up with.
Listen, if anybody wants to go and have a drink, I'm buying.
Let's go.
It's up, I'm not.
No, you are not buying.
I'm gonna buy, I'm buying.
It's been a pleasure, Bob.
We wanna go to Buffalo Wings, or you wanna go next door to the?
Are we on record still?
We didn't adjourn
I move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, anybody?
Okay, John, I understand. John, I love you, man.